Banana tree is one type of tree that lives in the tropics. This tree usually has a height of up to 2 meters, with very wide leaves and also sweet fruit. The fruit is very popular with the color yellow and also green. In addition to sweet fruit, bananas also contain many sources of vitamins that are very useful for the human body. Not only the fruit that can be used, but the trunk or the tree can be used as plantation land that is growing vegetables. This one way is quite unique and effective for the utilization of planting vegetables in live banana trees, because the banana tree is just one fruit, and so on will not be fruitful any more than in the cutting should be used as a place or pot of vegetables to be organic. Before we start, let's talk about the benefits of growing onions in a banana tree. Onions are a staple ingredient in many dishes and can be grown easily in many different ways, including in a banana tree. They're rich in vitamins and minerals and are an excellent source of antioxidants. Onions also have antifungal, antibacterial, and anti-inflammatory properties. Choosing the right banana tree. It's important to choose a banana tree that has enough space and is healthy. Look for a tree that has large leaves and a strong trunk. If the tree is too small, it may not be able to support the weight of the onions as they grow. Planting the onions. Fill a pot with well-draining soil and plant the onion bulbs in the soil. Make sure to plant them at the right depth. Water the soil until it's moist and place the pot near the banana tree. Taking care of the onions. Onions need regular watering and sunlight to grow properly. Water the soil once a week and make sure the onions get at least 6 hours of direct sunlight each day. Storing the onions. Once the onions have cured, store them in a cool, dry place. They can be stored for several months and used in a variety of dishes. Growing your vegetables in hydroponics is incredibly rewarding. Not only will hydroponics provide you with the vegetables you love to eat, but it can also help you save money and improve overall health. Growing hydroponic onions is not only tasty and nutritious, but they're also the easiest hydroponic vegetables to grow. Hydroponics is a method of cultivation that does not require the use of soil. Instead, you'll rely on nutrient water or moist air to cultivate your hydroponic plants. Some root crops like onions can be grown hydroponically with simple and easy steps just like leafy greens. Though there are some key factors that you have to consider getting the largest onion bulbs possible. The most important part is maintaining the hydroponic onion conditions to keep the growth rate maximized as much as possible. Hydroponic cultivation of onions has gained the greatest popularity. Onions are known for being relatively easy to grow plants hydroponically, needing only a jar of water and a windowsill with adequate sunlight. Within a week, onions will begin to grow green sprouts, which can be harvested continuously and used in a different variety of dishes and recipes. How to grow hydroponic onions indoors. Firstly, fill a jar with water nearly to the brim, and then mix in a vegetable fertilizer that was designed for onions, being sure to follow the directions on the box. Then, place an onion on the jar so that its roots are pointed downward into the water. If the onion is smaller than the mouth of the jar, and then insert a toothpick 1/2 inch into each side of the onion, and then place the onion in the jar. How to grow onions in container gardens. The way to grow onions in container gardens is much like growing onions in the ground. You need good soil, adequate drainage, good fertilizer, and plenty of light. Really, the only difference between what you do when you grow onions in the ground and when you grow onions in pots is choosing the container you'll be growing them in. Since you need several onions planted to get a decent crop, attempting to grow onions in pots that are only 5 or 6 inches wide would be cumbersome. If you choose to grow onions in pots, choose a large-mouthed pot. It needs to be at least 10 inches, 25 centimeters, Deep, but should be several feet, 1 meter, wide so that you'll be able to plant enough onions to make it worth your while. Many people have success growing onions in a tub. Plastic tubs are much cheaper than a comparable sized pot. Therefore, growing onions in a tub is economical and efficient. Just make sure that you put holes in the bottom of the tub to provide drainage. You can also grow onions in 5-gallon, 19 liters buckets, but realize that you may only be able to grow 3 or 4 onions per bucket, as onions need at least 3 inches, 8 centimeters, open soil around them to grow properly. Choosing a location for growing onions in containers, whether you decide to grow onions in a tub or in pots. It's essential that you put the onion container somewhere that gets 6 to 7 hours of light. Also, check out our full-spectrum LED grow lights, which would help your onions to grow indoors better. Link is given in the description. Remember to water your potted onions. Water is important to growing onions in container gardens, because your container onions will have little access to naturally stored rainfall from surrounding soil like onions grown in the ground do. Onions grown in containers will need at least 2 to 3 inches of water a week, perhaps even more in hot weather. Check your onions daily, and if the top of the soil is dry to the touch, give them some water. Just because you have limited space doesn't mean that you need to limit what you grow. Growing indoor onions or growing onions in a tub on the patio is fun and easy. Now that you know how to grow onions in container gardens, you have no excuse not to. Green onion farming. It is the process of growing scallions or green onions for their edible greens. This could be done either by planting seeds or sets in the ground, or by regrowing green onions from the root end of cut scallions. Green onion farming is an easy and fast way to grow a continuous supply of this versatile vegetable. The greens can be harvested as needed, and the plants will continue to grow, providing fresh greens throughout the growing season. This method of growing is well suited for both outdoor gardens and indoor hydroponic systems, making it a great option for gardeners of all levels. These are just a few ways to grow onions, and there are many other variations depending on your needs and preferences. Choose the method that works best for you and enjoy the delicious, nutritious bounty of homegrown onions. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Amazing Garden. I hope you learned something new about how to grow onions and can't wait to see your results. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more amazing gardening tips and tricks. And if you missed our previous video, be sure to check it out to learn more about gardening and growing your own plants. Thank you for watching, and until next time, happy gardening!